So I have decided to start with this book, Friedrich Nietzsche's Thus Spoke Zarathustra, a book for everyone and no one. Zarathustra's Prologue. When Zarathustra was 30 years old, he left his home and the lake of his home and went into the mountains. Here he had the enjoyment of his spirit and his solitude, and he did not weary of it for 10 years. But at last his heart turned, and one morning he arose with the dawn, stepped before the sun, and spoke to it thus: Great star, what would your happiness be if you had not those for whom you shine? You have come up here to my cave for 10 years. You would have grown weary of your light and of this journey without me, my eagle and my serpent. But we waited for you every morning, took from you your superfluity, and blessed you for it. Behold, I am weary of my wisdom, like a bee that has gathered too much honey. I need hands outstretched to take it. I should like to give it away and distribute it until the wise among men have again become happy in their folly, and the poor happy in their wealth. To that end, I must descend into the depths, as you do at evening, when you go behind the sea and bring light to the underworld too. Superabundant star. Like you, I must go down, as men, to whom I want to descend, call it. So bless me then, tranquil eye, that can behold without envy even an excessive happiness. Bless the cup that wants to overflow, that the waters may flow golden from him, and bear the reflection of your joy over all the world. Behold, this cup wants to be empty again, and Zarathustra wants to be a man again. Thus began Zarathustra's downgoing. Zarathustra went down the mountain alone, and no one met him. But when he entered the forest, an old man who had left his holy hut to look for his root in the forest suddenly stood before him, and the old man spoke thus to Zarathustra: This wanderer is no stranger to me. He passed by here many years ago. He was called Zarathustra, but he has changed. Then you carried your ashes to the mountains. Will you today carry your fire into the valley? Do you not fear an incendiary's punishment? Yes, I recognize Zarathustra. His eyes are clear, and no disgust lurks about his mouth. Does he not go along like a dancer? How changed Zarathustra is! Zarathustra has become a child, an awakened one. What do you want now with the sleepers? You lived in solitude as in the sea, and the sea bored you. Alas, do you not want to go ashore? Alas, do you want again to drag your body yourself? Zarathustra answered, I love mankind. Why, said the saint, did I go into the forest and the desert? Was it not because I loved mankind all too much? Now I love God. Mankind I do not love. Man is too imperfect a thing for me. Love of mankind would destroy me. Zarathustra answered, What did I say of love? I am bringing mankind a gift. Give them nothing, said the saint. Rather, take something of them and bear it with them. That will please them best, if only it be pleasing to you. And if you want to give to them, give no more than an alms, and let them beg for that. No, answered Zarathustra, I give no alms. I am not poor enough for that. The saint laughed at Zarathustra and spoke thus. See to it that they accept your treasures. They are mistrustful of hermits and do not believe that we come to give. Our steps ring too lonely through their streets, and when at night they hear in their beds a man going by long before the sun has risen, they probably ask themselves, where is that thief going? Do not go to men, but stay in the forest. Go rather to the animals. Why will you not be as I am, a bear among bears, a bird among birds? And what does the saint do in the forest? Asked Zarathustra. Saint answered, I make songs and sing them, and when I make songs, I laugh, weep, and mutter. Thus I praise God. With singing, weeping, laughing, and muttering, I praise the God who is my God. But what do you bring us as a gift? When Zarathustra heard these words, he saluted the saint and said, what should I have to give you? But let me go quickly, that I may take nothing from you. Thus they parted ways from one another. The old man and Zarathustra, laughing as two boys laugh. But when Zarathustra was alone, he spoke thus to his heart. Could it be possible this old saint has not yet heard in his forest that God is dead? When Zarathustra arrived at the nearest of the towns lying against the forest, he found in that very place many people assembled in the market square, for it had been announced that a tightrope walker would be appearing. And Zarathustra spoke thus to the people, I teach you the Superman. Man is something that should be overcome. What have you done to overcome him? All creatures hitherto have created something beyond themselves. And do you want to be the ebb of this great tide and return to the animals rather than overcome man? What is the aim to man? A laughing stock or a painful embarrassment? And just so shall man be to the Superman, a laughing stock or a painful embarrassment. You have made your way from worm to man, and much in you is still worm. Once you were apes, and even now man is more of an ape than any ape. But he who is the wisest among you, he also is only a discord and hybrid of plant and of ghost. But do I bid you become ghosts or plants? Behold, I teach you the Superman. The Superman is the meaning of the earth. Let your willing say, let your will say, the Superman shall be the meaning of the earth. I entreat you, my brothers, remain true to the earth. Do not believe those who speak to you of super terrestrial hopes. They are poisoners, whether they know it or not. They are despisers of life, atrophying and self-poisoned men, of whom the earth is weary. So let them be gone. Once blasphemy against God was the greatest blasphemy, but God died, and thereupon these blasphemers died too. To blaspheme the earth is now the most dreadful offense, and to esteem the bowels of the inscrutable, more highly than the meaning of the earth. Once the soul looked contemptuously upon the body, and then this contempt was the supreme good. The soul wanted the body lean, monstrous, famished. So the soul thought to escape from the body and from the earth. Oh, this soul was itself lean, monstrous, and famished, and cruelty was the delight of this soul. But tell me, brothers, what does your body say about your soul? Is your soul not poverty and dirt and a miserable ease? In truth, man is a polluted river. One must be a sea to receive a polluted river and not be defiled. Behold, I teach you the Superman. He is the sea. In him, your great contempt can go under. What is the greatest thing you can experience? It is the hour of the great contempt, the hour in which even your happiness grows loathsome to you, and your reason and your virtue also. The hour when you say, what good is my happiness? It is poverty and dirt and a miserable ease. But my happiness should justify existence itself. The hour when you say, what good is my reason? Does it long for knowledge as a lion for its food? It is poverty and dirt and a miserable ease. The hour when you say, what good is my virtue? It has not yet driven me mad. How tired I am of my good and my evil. It is all poverty and dirt and a miserable ease. The hour when you say, what good is my justice? I do not see that I am fire and hot coals. But the just man is fire and hot coals. The hour when you say, what good is my pity? Is not pity the cross upon which he who loves man is nailed? But my pity is no crucifixion. Have you ever spoken thus? Have you ever cried thus? Ah, that I had heard you crying thus. It is not your sin, but your moderation that cries to heaven. Your very meanness in sinning cries to heaven. Where is the lightning to lick you with its tongue? Where is the madness with which you should be cleansed? Behold, I teach you the Superman. He is this lightning. He is this madness. When Zarathustra had spoken thus, one of the people cried, now we have heard enough of the tightrope walker. Let us see him too. And all the people laughed at Zarathustra. But the tightrope walker thought that the words applied to him set to work. But Zarathustra looked at the people and marveled. Then he spoke thus: man is a rope fastened between animal and Superman, a rope over an abyss, a dangerous go across, a dangerous wayfaring, a dangerous looking back, a dangerous shuddering and staying still. What is great in man is that he is a bridge and not a goal. What can be loved in man is that he is a going across and a down going. I love those who do not know how to live except their lives be a down going, for they are those who are going across. I love the great despisers, for they are the great venerators and arrows of longing for the other bank. I love those who do not first seek beyond the stars for reasons to go down and to be sacrifices, but who sacrifice themselves to the earth, and that the earth may one day belong to the Superman. I love him who lives for knowledge and who wants knowledge that one day the Superman may live, and thus he wills his own downfall. I love him who works and invents that he may build a house for the Superman and prepare earth, animals, and plants for him, for thus he wills his own downfall. I love him who loves his virtue, for virtue is will to downfall and an arrow of longing. I love him who keeps back no drop of spirit for himself, but wants to be the spirit of his virtue entirely. Thus he steps as spirit over the bridge. I love him who makes a predilection and a fate of his virtue. Thus, for his virtue's sake, he will live or not live. I love him who does not want too many virtues. One virtue is more than two, because it is more of a knot for fate to cling to. I love him whose soul is lavish, who neither wants nor returns thanks, for he always gives and will not preserve himself. I love him who is ashamed when the dice fall in his favor, and who then asks, am I then a cheat? For he wants to perish. I love him who throws golden words in advance of his deeds, and always performs more than he promised, for he wills his own downfall. I love him who justifies the men of the future and redeems the men of the past, for he wants to perish by the men of the present. I love him who chastises his God because he loves his God, for he must perish by the anger of his God. I love him whose soul is deep even in its ability to be wounded, and whom even a little thing can destroy. Thus he is glad to go over the bridge. I love him whose soul is overfull, so that he forgets himself and all things are in him. Thus all things become his downfall. I love him who is of a free spirit and a free heart. Thus his head is only the bowels of his heart, but his heart drives him to his downfall. I love all those who are like heavy drops falling singly from the dark cloud that hangs over mankind. They prophesy the coming of the lightning, and as prophets they perish. Behold, I am a prophet of the lightning and a heavy drop from the cloud, but this lightning is called Superman. When Zarathustra had spoken these words, he looked again at the people and fell silent. There they stand, he said to his heart. There they laugh. They do not understand me. I am not the mouth for these ears. Must one first shatter their ears, teach them to hear with their eyes? Must one rumble like drums and lengthen preachers? Or do they believe only those who can stammer? They have something of which they are proud. What is it called that makes them proud? They call it culture. It distinguishes them from the goat herds. Therefore, they dislike hearing the word contempt spoken of them. So I shall speak to their pride. So I shall speak to them of the most contemptible man, and that is the ultimate man. And thus spoke Zarathustra to the people. It is time for man to fix his goal. It is time for man to plant the seed of his highest hope. His soil is still rich enough for it, but this soil will one day be poor and weak. No longer will a high tree be able to grow from it. Alas, the time is coming when man will no more shoot the arrows of his longing out over mankind, and the string of his bow will have forgotten how to twang. I tell you, one must have chaos in one to give birth to a dancing star. I tell you, you still have chaos in you. Alas, the time is coming when man will give birth to no more stars. Alas, the time of the most contemptible man is coming, the man who can no longer despise himself. Behold, I shall show you the ultimate man. What is love? What is creation? What is longing? What is a star? Thus asks the ultimate man in blinks. The earth has become small, and upon it hops the ultimate man who makes everything small. His race is as inexterminable as the flea. The ultimate man lives longest. We have discovered happiness, say the ultimate men, and blink. They have left the places where living was hard, for one needs warmth. One still loves one's neighbor and rubs oneself against himself, for one needs warmth. Sickness and mistrust count as sins with them. One should go about warily. He is a fool who still stumbles over stones or over men. A little poison now and then that produces pleasant dreams, and a lot of poison at last for a pleasant death. They still work, for work is entertainment, but they take care the entertainment does not exhaust them. Nobody grows rich or poor anymore. Both are too much of a burden. Who still wants to rule? Who obey? Both are too much of a burden. No herdsman and one herd. Everyone wants the same thing. Everyone is the same. Whoever thinks otherwise goes voluntarily into the madhouse. Formerly, all the world was mad, say the most acute of them, and blink. They are clever and know everything that has ever happened, so there is no end to their mockery. They still quarrel, but soon they make up, otherwise, indigestion would result. They have their little pleasure for the day and the little pleasure for the night, but they respect health. We have discovered happiness, said the ultimate man and blink. And here ended Zarathustra's first discourse, which is also called the prologue. But at this point, the shouting and mirth of the crowd interrupted him. Give us this ultimate man, O Zarathustra, so they cried. Make us into the ultimate man, you can have the Superman. And all the people laughed and shouted. But Zarathustra grew sad and said to his heart, they do not understand me. I am not the moth for these years. Perhaps I have lived too long in the mountains, listened too much to the trees and the streams. Now I speak to them as to goat herds. Unmoved is my soul, bright as the mountains in the morning. But they think me cold and a mocker with the fearful jokes. And now they look at me and laugh. And laughing, they still hate me. There is ice in their laughter. But then something happened that silenced every mouth and fixed every eye. In the meantime, of course, the tightrope walker has begun his work. He had emerged from a little door and was proceeding over the rope which was stretched between two towers and thus hung over the people and market square. Just as he had reached the middle of his course, a little door opened again, and brightly dressed fellow, like a buffoon, sprang out and followed the former with rapid steps. Forward, Lanefoot! Cried his fearsome voice. Forward, sluggard, intruder, pallid face, lest I tickle you with my heels. What are you doing here between towers? You belong in the tower, and you should be locked up. You are blocking the way of a better man than you. And with each word he came nearer and nearer to him. But when he was only a single pace behind him, there occurred the dreadful thing that silenced every mouth and fixed every eye. He emitted a cry like a devil, and sprang over the man standing in his path. But the latter, when he saw his rival thus triumph, lost his head and the row. He threw away his pole and fell, faster even than it, like a vortex of legs and arms. The market square and the people were like a sea in a storm. They flew apart in disorder, especially when the body would come crashing down. But Zarathustra remained still, and the body felt quite close to him, badly injured and broken, but not yet dead. After a while, consciousness returned to the Shatterman, and he saw Zarathustra kneeling beside him. "What are you doing?" he asked at length. "I've known for a long time that the devil would trip me up. Now he is dragging me to hell. Are you trying to prevent him?" "On my honor, friend," answered Zarathustra, "all you have spoken of does not exist. There is no devil and no hell. Your soul will be dead even before your body. Therefore, fear nothing anymore." The man looked up mistrustfully. "If you are speaking the truth," he said, "I shall leave nothing when I leave life. I am not much more than an animal which has been taught to dance by blows and starvation." "Not so," said Zarathustra. "You have made danger your calling. There is nothing in that to despise. Now, you perish through your calling, so I will bury you with my own hands." When Zarathustra had said this, the dying man replied no more, but he bowed, mentioned, but he motioned with his hand, as if he sought Zarathustra's hand to thank him. In the meanwhile, evening had come, and the market square was hidden in darkness, and the people dispersed, for even curiosity and terror grew tired. But Zarathustra sat on the ground beside the dead man, and was sunk in thought. Thus he forgot the time. But at length it became night, and a cold wind blew over the solitary figure. Then Zarathustra arose and said to his heart, "Truly, Zarathustra has had a handsome catch today. He caught no man, but he did catch a corpse." Uncanny is human existence, and still without meaning. A buffoon can be fatal to it. I want to teach men the meaning of their existence, which is the Superman, the lightning from the dark cloud man. But I am still distant from them, and my meaning does not speak to their minds. To men, I am still a cross between a fool and a corpse. Dark is the night, dark are Zarathustra's ways. Come, cold and stiff companion, I am going to carry you to the place where I shall bury you with my own hands. When Zarathustra had said this to his heart, he loaded the corpse onto his back and set forth. He had not gone 100 paces when a man crept up to him and whispered in his ear. And behold, it was the buffoon of the tower who spoke to him. "Go away from this town, O Zarathustra," he said. "Too many here hate you. The good and the just hate you and call you their enemy and despiser. The faithful of the true faith hate you, and they call you a danger to the people. It was lucky for you that they laughed at you, and truly you spoke like a buffoon. It was lucky for you that you made company with the dead dog. By so abasing yourself, you have saved yourself for today. But leave this town, or tomorrow it shall jump over you, a living man over a dead one." And when he had said this, the man disappeared. Zarathustra, however, went on through the dark streets. At the town gate, the gravediggers accosted him. They shone their torch in his face, recognized Zarathustra, and greatly derided him. "Zarathustra is carrying the dead dog away. Excellent! That Zarathustra has become a gravedigger, for our hands are too clean for this rose. Does Zarathustra want to rob the devil of his morsel? Good luck then, a healthy appetite. But if the devil is a better thief than Zarathustra, he will steal them both, and he will eat them both." And they laughed and put their heads together. Zarathustra said nothing and went his way. When he had walked for 2 hours, past woods and swamps, he had heard too much hungry howling of wolves, and he grew hungry himself. So he stopped at a lonely house in which a light was burning. Hunger has waylaid me, said Zarathustra, like a robber. My hunger has waylaid me in woods and swamps, and in the depth of night. My hunger has astonishing moods. Often it comes to me only after meal times, and today it did not come at all. Where has it been? And with that, Zarathustra knocked on the door of the house. An old man appeared. He carried a light and asked, "Who comes here to me and to my uneasy sleep?" "A living man and a dead," said Zarathustra. "Give me food and drink. I forgot about them during the day. He who feeds the hungry refreshes his own soul. Thus speaks wisdom." The old man went away, but returned at once and offered Zarathustra bread and wine. "This is a bad country for hungry people," he said. "That's why I live here. Animals and men come here to me, the hermit. But bid your companion eat and drink. He is wearier than you." Zarathustra answered, "My companion is dead. I shall hardly be able to persuade him." "That has nothing to do with me," said the old man morosely. "Whoever knocks at my door must take what I offer him, eat, and fare you well." After that, Zarathustra walked 2 hours more and trusted to the road and to the light of the stars, for he was used to walking abroad at night and liked to look into the faces of all that slept. But when morning dawned, Zarathustra found himself in a thick forest, and the road disappeared. Then he laid the dead man in a hollow tree at his head, for he wanted to protect him from the wolves, and laid himself down on the mossy ground, and straightway he fell asleep, weary in body, but with a soul at rest. Zarathustra slept long, and not only the dawn, but the morning too passed over his head. But at length he opened his eyes. In surprise, Zarathustra gazed into the forest and the stillness. In surprise, he gazed into himself. Then he arose quickly, like a seafarer who suddenly sees land, and rejoiced, for he beheld a new truth. And then he spoke to his heart thus: "A light has dawned for me. I need companions, living ones, not dead companions and corpses which I carry with me wherever I wish. But I need living companions who follow me because they want to follow themselves and who want to go where I want to go. A light has dawned for me. Zarathustra shall not speak to the people, but to companions. Zarathustra shall not be herdsman and dog to the herd, to lure many away from the herd. That is why I have come. The people and the herd shall be angry with me. The herdsmen shall call Zarathustra a robber. I say, herdsmen, but they call themselves the good and the just. I say, herdsmen, but they call themselves the faithful of the true faith. Behold the good and the just. Whom do they hate the most? Him who smashes the tables of values, the breaker, the lawbreaker, but he is the creator. Behold the faith of all faiths. Whom do they hate the most? Him who smashes the tables of values, the breaker, the lawbreaker, but he is the creator. The creator seeks companions, not corpses or herds or believers. The Creator seeks fellow creators, those who inscribe new values on new tables. The Creator seeks companions and fellow harvesters, for with him everything is ripe for harvesting. But he lacks his 100 sickles, so he tears off the ears of corn and is vexed. The Creator seeks companions and such as know how to whet their sickles. They will be called destroyers and despisers of good and evil, but they are harvesters and rejoicers. Zarathustra seeks fellow creators, fellow harvesters, and fellow rejoicers. What has he to do with herds and herdsmen and corpses? And you, my first companion, fare you well. I have buried you well in your hollow tree. I have hidden you well from the wolves, but I am leaving you. The time has come. Between dawn and dawn, a new truth has come to me. I will not be herdsman or grave digger. I will not speak again to the people. I have spoken to a dead man for the last time. I will make company with creators, with harvesters, with rejoicers. I will show them the rainbow and the stairway to the Superman. I shall sing my song to the lone hermit and to the hermit in pairs, and I will make the heart of him who still has ears for unheard of things heavy with my happiness. I make for my goal, I go my way. I shall leap over the hesitating and the indolent. Thus may my going forward be their going down. Zarathustra said this to his heart as the sun stood at noon. Then he looked inquiringly into the sky, for he heard above him the sharp cry of a bird. And behold, an eagle was sweeping through the air in wide circles, and from it was hanging a serpent, not like a prey, but like a friend, for it was coiled around the eagle's neck. It is my animals, said Zarathustra, and rejoiced in his heart. The proudest animal under the sun, and the wisest animal under the sun. They have come scouting. They wanted to learn if Zarathustra was still alive. Am I, in fact, alive? I found it more dangerous among men than among animals. Zarathustra is following dangerous paths. May my animals lead me. When Zarathustra said this, he recalled the words of the saint in the forest, sighed, and spoke thus to his heart. I wish I were wise. I wish I were from the part of me, like my serpent. But I am asking the impossible. Therefore, I ask my pride always to go along with my wisdom. And if one day my wisdom should desert me, ah, it loves to fly away. Then may my pride too fly away with my folly. Thus began Zarathustra's downgoing.